Have you ever wondered how a single invention could change the course of humanity? In the annals of modern history, few inventions have altered the global landscape as dramatically as the development of nuclear weapons. These devices, born from the crucible of World War II, were not just monumental feats of science and engineering. They were also harbingers of a new era in international relations and military strategy. The genesis of the nuclear bomb is a tale wrapped in the urgency of wartime necessity. Amidst the fears of Nazi Germany developing its own atomic weapons, the United States embarked on the secretive Manhattan Project. This colossal effort brought together some of the brightest minds of the 20th century, who were tasked with unlocking the power of the atom. Once unleashed, the atomic bomb did more than bring World War II to a cataclysmic conclusion. It irrevocably shifted the power dynamics on the world stage. Nations now had to consider the apocalyptic potential of nuclear arsenals in their diplomatic and military calculations. This new reality ushered in an age of nuclear deterrence, where the sheer destructive capability of these weapons served as a grim counterbalance to their use. The presence of nuclear weapons has since become a cornerstone of national defense policies around the world, influencing everything from military spending to foreign policy. The specter of nuclear conflict has led to international treaties and relentless efforts towards non-proliferation. This immense power reshaped not just military strategies, but the very fabric of international relations. Imagine a city thriving and vibrant. Now imagine it vanishing in a blink of an eye. This is the grim reality of a nuclear explosion, a spectacle of intense light, searing heat, and devastating shockwaves. In mere seconds, a bustling metropolis transforms into a desolate wasteland. At the core of the explosion, the temperature rises to several million degrees, igniting the air and forming a fireball. This radiant sphere expands rapidly, emitting a blinding flash that can be seen for miles. The intense heat vaporizes everything in its immediate vicinity. Buildings melt, vehicles disintegrate, and the very fabric of the city crumbles. Surrounding the fireball is the blast radius, within which the effects vary by distance. Closest to the explosion, the overpressure can reach several hundred pounds per square inch, enough force to flatten reinforced concrete structures and twist steel beams into grotesque sculptures of their former selves. As we move farther from the epicenter, the destruction becomes less complete, but no less heartbreaking. Windows shatter, throwing shards like shrapnel, and roofs are torn away as if made of paper. The human toll is unimaginable. In the immediate aftermath, the casualty numbers skyrocket, with deaths in the tens of thousands and injuries in even greater numbers. Those closest to the epicenter vanish in an instant, their lives extinguished by the overwhelming power of the blast. Further away, survivors face a range of injuries from burns and blunt trauma to the insidious onset of radiation sickness. Infrastructure, the backbone of any city, suffers extensively. Roads are blocked, communication lines are down, and essential services like electricity and water supply are disrupted, plunging the survivors into a fight for basic necessities. The initial moment of impact is devastating, but the real horror of nuclear warfare doesn't end there. As the dust settles, the invisible threat begins to emerge. In the wake of a nuclear explosion, the immediate devastation is palpable, but it's the long-term environmental effects that silently weave their destructive tapestry. When a nuclear bomb detonates, it releases a plethora of radioactive materials into the atmosphere. These materials, invisible to the naked eye, are potent and persistent, lingering in the environment for decades, even centuries. They infiltrate the soil, the water, and the air, fundamentally altering the natural world. Radiation's impact on vegetation is both profound and heartbreakingly visible. Plants, which are typically resilient to many forms of stress, find themselves unable to cope with the intense levels of radiation. This results in widespread mutations, some of which produce bizarre and unviable forms of plant life. More often than not, these mutations hinder the plant's ability to photosynthesize effectively, severely stunting their growth or killing them outright. As these plants form the foundation of their respective ecosystems, their impairment or destruction sets off a domino effect, leading to the degradation of entire ecosystems. Forests can turn into barren landscapes, and fertile soils become sterile sands. The impact extends beyond flora to the realm of fauna. Animals, depending on contaminated plants and water sources, absorb radiation, leading to genetic mutations and fatal illnesses. The radiation accumulates within their bodies, a process known as bioaccumulation, which not only affects individual animals, but also threatens entire species. The resultant biodiversity loss is staggering, with some species facing the brink of extinction. This loss of biodiversity disrupts ecological balances, affecting everything from local food chains to global environmental processes. The repercussions of a nuclear event are thus not confined to human casualties or structural damage. They reach deep into the heart of our natural world, leaving a legacy of disruption and decay. The scars left on nature by nuclear fallout can last for generations, altering landscapes forever. Beyond the immediate blast, the shadow of the bomb grows longer and darker over human health. When the dust settles after a nuclear explosion, the impact on human life begins a grim chapter that spans decades, if not centuries. The survivors, often termed hibakusha, a Japanese term that gained prominence after the bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, face a daunting array of health challenges. Radiation sickness, characterized by symptoms such as nausea, vomiting, and severe malaise, is just the beginning. As the days turn into years, the latent effects become evident. Cancer rates among those exposed to nuclear fallout surge, with leukemia, thyroid cancer, and breast cancer being notably more common. But the damage doesn't stop at cancer. Radiation can cause genetic mutations, which not only affect those directly exposed, but also their future offspring, leading to congenital disabilities and other genetic disorders. But the scars are not solely physical. The psychological toll on survivors and their families is profound and pervasive. The trauma of experiencing such devastation, coupled with the stress of chronic disease, creates a legacy of mental health issues. Depression, anxiety, and post-traumatic stress disorder frequently haunt those who lived through the event and even affect subsequent generations who grapple with the stories and health issues passed down to them. The socioeconomic consequences further complicate recovery. Regions hit by nuclear weapons often face long-term poverty and displacement. The infrastructure is obliterated, the land becomes unfit for agriculture, and the economy collapses. This displacement not only fractures communities, but also creates enduring poverty traps from which it is incredibly challenging to escape. As the years roll by, the communities struggle to rebuild amidst the lingering shadows of nuclear fallout. The international community's response varies, but often the support is insufficient to address the magnitude of the problem, leaving the survivors to fend for themselves in a drastically altered world. The suffering inflicted by nuclear warfare extends far beyond the explosion, affecting countless lives and future generations. So, how have these monstrous inventions shaped our world today? In the intricate web of international politics, nuclear weapons have carved a niche of paramount importance. The mere possession of these weapons deters adversaries and reshapes military strategies. Nations with nuclear capabilities are often viewed with a mix of respect and fear, holding a sort of veto power in global affairs. This deterrence theory, which suggests that nations are discouraged from attacking each other, fearing mutual destruction, has been a cornerstone in the maintenance of peace, albeit a precarious one. Reflecting on disarmament, the journey towards a nuclear-free world is fraught with complexities. Numerous treaties and international agreements aim to curb nuclear proliferation, yet the path is hindered by mistrust and strategic interests. The Treaty on the Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons, for instance, represents a significant global effort to prevent the spread of nuclear weapons and promote peaceful nuclear technology, but its efficacy is perennially under scrutiny. Moreover, the shadow of nuclear warfare looms large over global peace efforts. The fear of annihilation influences diplomatic relations and international policies. Summits and diplomatic channels often focus intensely on de-escalation of nuclear threats, which paradoxically both stabilizes and destabilizes regions. For example, negotiations often become tense with the knowledge that missteps could escalate into unimaginable consequences. The presence of nuclear weapons has created a delicate balance of terror that continues to shape international relations. We've journeyed through the devastating impact of nuclear weapons, from immediate destruction to the haunting long-term effects. Let's recap the significant points touched upon. The landscape of an area hit by a nuclear bomb is altered irreversibly, with vegetation obliterated and the soil rendered toxic. The recovery of such an environment can span decades, leaving a once thriving natural space a barren wasteland. Human life, too, bears the brunt of this immense power. The immediate loss of life, the long-term health complications like cancer, and genetic damage are profound and heart-wrenching. Societies are disrupted, economies are shattered, and the psychological scars run deep across generations. Holding the power to unleash such destruction comes with grave responsibilities. It challenges us to think critically about the role of nuclear weapons in world affairs and their profound implications for future generations. Reflect on this knowledge and consider the future we want to forge. If you found this enlightening, don't forget to like and subscribe to the Space Dude channel for more insights.